So recently, Anne Arundel County Executive Stuart L. Pittman issued an apology for slavery. And one of the things that stood out about this particular apology is the fact that he acknowledged that he is a descendant of slave owners who owned slaves in Anne Arundel County, Maryland. And I saw this post on Facebook, and there were quite a few comments. I left a comment myself basically saying that this is a step in the right direction. And I want to elaborate on that, and I also will talk about some of the comments that I received. So, this is a step in the right direction. Before you can address the problem, before you can repair a problem, you have to actually acknowledge the problem and acknowledge its continuing impact on people of today. That's one of the first steps to any kind of recovery or any repair of damage that's done. You have some people that want to ignore slavery. They want to pretend like it has no impact on our lives today. They want to pretend like it didn't even exist. So this is a very important first step. And the sad thing is, these same people that want to pretend like slavery never happened, basically, or that it's irrelevant today, these are the same people that want people to remember 9/11. These are the same people that want to remember Pearl Harbor. These are the same people that want to remember the Holocaust. But when it comes to the Holocaust that impacted black people, slavery, where we were enslaved for hundreds of years, and many of our people were unalived during the Middle Passage. These people want to just ignore that reality of history. And you even have a Trump administration that is literally trying to white out and blot out our history as I speak. Blot out our history from the school books and from the museums. So this is a very important first step towards the ultimate thing that needs to happen, which is reparations for the damage that was done. Now, there are quite a few people that commented about this. You know, when I posted my comment, I received some racist comments from white people, and I'll respond to that later. But I want to address some of the issues they raised in their comments. Like one of the issues that people raised was, well, there are no slaves today, and that happened all these years ago. Why is it relevant? The fact of the matter is that every single industry that exists in existence today in America profited from the slave trade. Just about every single industry, whether we're talking about banking, whether we're talking about insurance companies, whether we're talking about colleges and universities, whether we're talking about the federal government itself. All of these institutions benefited from the enslavement of black people. They have unjust enrichment that they reaped from hundreds of years of free black labor, enslaved black labor. So that's one thing. And the massive wealth disparity that you see today, not 150 years ago, but today, is a direct result of that legacy of slavery, where we were held back and held down and exploited for hundreds of years without compensation. That has created a massive wealth disparity between black and white people. And not only the legacy of slavery, but the legacy of Jim Crow as well helped perpetuate the massive wealth inequality between black and white people. It's a direct result of the legacy of slavery and the legacy of Jim Crow. And it's very important for people to acknowledge that legacy. And that's why I commend this executive director for making that very first important step to acknowledge what has happened. The other thing is this, people in the comments kept mentioning the slave trade. They kept mentioning the role that the African played in the slave trade. And they use that as a distraction and deflection. So they want you to get into some extended debate about the role that Africans played in the slave trade instead of dealing with the primary slaver, which is the goddamn white man. The white man is the one that primarily profited from the slave trade. The white man is the one that headed that up. He's the one that built the damn slave ships that took us across the ocean and brought us to North America. He's the one that held us in bondage in this country for hundreds of years without compensation. He's the one that engineered the whole thing. He's the one that got the different ethnic groups in Africa to fight with one another and to engage in the slave trade to begin with. He's the one that paid off the sellout leaders in certain African communities to participate in the slave trade. So he is the primary culprit. He's the primary person and group that's responsible for the enslavement of black people, and he should be held primarily responsible for it. He's the one that reaped the most benefit from the slave trade. So it's time for him to pay the hell up for what he's done to black people. And the role of the African does not absolve this damn white man for what he's done to the black man. And, those Africans that did participate in the slave trade, they are indebted to the black man and woman in America as well. And many of them have acknowledged their role in the slave trade, but don't let these racist white people try to deflect and distract people and how you talking about the Africans' role when it's the damn white man that played the primary role. The other thing I want to talk about is, some people said, well, this is promoting division. In response to this. This is not promoting division. And then they went on to some irrelevant rant about interracial marriage, as if that means anything at all when it comes to this particular issue. The fact that people are intermarrying and all that kind of stuff has nothing to do with the injustice that occurred for hundreds of years in this country. It has nothing to do with the fact that we were enslaved for all those years, and you got these people that won't even acknowledge that. If you are really about kumbaya and you love everybody and you're against division and all that kind of stuff, you should be on board with something like this instead of condemning it and hating on it. You hate on it because you are really not about unity among people of different races. You're not really about that. You don't really have compassion for other people, because if you did, you would be fully supportive of these statements that this county executive made about this very important issue. It is not division to try to bring about reconciliation by acknowledging history, by acknowledging actual facts. And then, these people got into this ridiculous discussion about Democrats versus Republicans. It's not about that. Every single institution in this society had some kind of role in the slave trade, regardless of party. And the fact of the matter is, the people that you point your finger at and say that these Democrats were so racist and all that kind of stuff, those people became Republicans. They became Republicans. Following, the civil rights movement, a lot of those haters that were against, emancipation and against civil rights, they became your modern day Republican Party. And it's no coincidence that that's the same party that's trying to rewrite history, write us out of history, and trying to erase the gains that black people made in this country.